Hi and Assalamualaikum to our lecturer Dr. Muhammad Ramlan bin Muhammad Arshad. We are from Group 2 and we are going to present the seminar paper with the title of Leadership Effects Towards the Employee Behavior. First of all, I would like to introduce all the group members, which are Nur Aima binti SHAHFIEE, Suraya HANEEM binti SUPIAN, MAIZATUL NAZIRAH binti OSMAN, Nur WAHIDA FARIZA binti WASILAH, and lastly, KHALYSHAH binti MUKHLIS.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Aima binti SHAHFIEE and I will present a part of introduction. Okay, what is NPM? NPM, or known as a New Public Management, can be described as a method of developing and implementing the administrative policy by making integrated efforts to alter or changes the actual institution mechanism, processes and practices of public administration. Moreover, New Public Management has emphasized the performance-oriented management of public sector rather than policy-oriented management, in which of public administration use the information and experience obtained in management and other specialization to improve public services performance in modern bureaucracy. Okay, moving on with the NPM concept with leadership. In general, leadership in the public sector is particularly crucial as it affects not just the job performance of the employees, but also the head of governance in reflecting the performance of the government and public organizations, where the leadership is the essential for effective public administrations, including effective planning, efficiency, transparency, and accountability, where the term of leadership in public administration as the head of governance, which encompasses both leadership and implementation, where implementation is the primary focus of government and public management. Okay, where the effectiveness of governance can be measured based on the outcomes of various leaderships and implementing strategies, and as one of the ramifications for the public managers is increased discretion and autonomy in exercising leaderships, which this can be utilized by the public agency to effectively manage public organizations. Such grids have an impact on the public leadership, which is heavily influenced by the model development in the private sector, such as transactional and transformation leadership. Next, we're moving on to the leadership in NPM under Malaysian perspective, where the administrative reforms into the public sector and services has been started on the early 1960s after independence of Malaysia, with the most action seriousness to change the country's administrative system, with drastic steps taken by the political leaders starting with Tun Abdul Razak and Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, where the problems that occur during the formation of administrative reforms, where the public servants were assessed as sluggish, incompetent and inefficient, where these reforms are to modernize the public administration and improve the training programs for the Malaysian civil servants by improving the quality of goods and the services. The major reform of the public sector servicing to some extent affects the behavior of civil servants under the greatest ruling of the top leadership of country in during Tun Mahathir era, where this can be explained through Tun Mahathir's leadership efforts in emphasizing on increasing the productivity of the civil servants in establishment of culture, program and attitude of civil servants. As a result, if efforts has been made to develop civil officials with admirable morals so that they will be prepared to carry out the programs and formulated made by the government.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Suraya HANEEM. I will be the next presenter and I will be talking about the symptoms. To know if a problem has occurred, it is best to look by the symptom or sign. When a problem arises, it needs to be solved quickly, and realizing the symptom to a problem is important because symptoms act as an indicator or a sign that problem does exist within in an organization. If the employee shows symptom of having no moral, it is a sign that there is a problem. Leader plays an important role in an organization, especially in the public sector, since the productivity is determined through the abilities of what a leader can do, and employees' moral plays an important role when it comes to optimizing the strategy that has been set by the organization. Good moral means that the employees are enthusiastic and have the confidence in completing their tasks. Signs of employee losing their moral can be seen through the performance that they give in their tasks. It is easy to judge based on their performance since low moral leads to bad performance. Leader plays an important role to increase the moral of employee by building trust within the relationship they have with their employees, share their vision together, and give more encouragement to them. And having a leader with bad leadership will lead to the loss of moral and hence reducing the productivity of the organization. The next symptom is the lack of communication between a leader and its employees. Communication is considered as essential in public sector when it comes to creating an effective planning and controlling of the organization resources in order to accomplish the goals. A sign of a good leadership is through having an efficient communication skill that will help better understanding between employees and inspire them with good principles and values that the leaders have. It is an important component that needed to be possessed by leaders as it shows their capabilities in encouraging and connecting with their employees. When there is a lack of communication between the leader and employee, it is a sign for the leader to be having a bad leadership that could lead to bad decision making, which communication is important when it comes to deciding on important matter, especially in public sector since it involves a lot of people when it comes to their decision. There is also an underlying important aspect when it comes to leader and their communication skill, which is loyalty. According to Lailawati, Bahman and Muhammad 2017, their studies shown that a good communication contributes to a good leadership skill and it leads to the employee of being loyal to the organization. The study was made on public administrators in Putrajaya where they found out that the employees were loyal and there is a high correlation of leader behavior and communication skill that contributes to the loyalty of the people within in the organization. So another symptom that can be identified is the lack of respect between employees towards its leader and vice versa. Being a leader put them in the high ground as they are the one who's supposed to lead and influence the employees as well as being an example. Incapable of doing so will lead to the employees lose their respect to their leaders. The respect is in context of the employees dismissing the decision that has been made or opinions and idea that the leaders has shared to their employees. This can be crucial since it is the leader's job to influence and lead the individuals under them. So to have their employees turn their back and not respecting the others will give an impact to the productivity of the organization as well as the workflow throughout the organization. Respect can be also gained if the employees were given a small portion of power and freedom in their decision making. There are also a different case where employees lose their respect to the leader due to the lack of integrity that the leader have. This is a crucial point in public sector as employees want to work for a leader who is ethical and a bit to the values of the organization. Leaders should be the one who is showcasing a good example through their capabilities. And by showing the employee that they have possessed a good leadership, they can do that by gaining the trust by their actions, words, and decisions that could benefit and satisfy both the organization and employee as well as providing good service to the public.
Assalamualaikum, my name is MAIZATUL NAZIRAH binti OSMAN. So in this part, I will talk about the causes of the poor leadership behavior. So from the case study that we identified, for the first causes of the poor leadership behavior is toxic work environment. Toxic work environment is a situation where personnel find it difficult for them to engage or to have a progress in their career because there is a negative environment fostered by the work colleague, supervisor, and the other employee or the company itself. The toxic culture actually cannot be existing if the toxic people is not in the organization. If the organization have the toxic boss from the start and has been in the organization for a long time, the chances to make the organization become the toxic is higher. This is because most of the behavior in the organization mostly inherit by the employer and the senior employee. It inherit down to the other staff in the hierarchy. So this shows that poor leadership behavior can caused by the inheritance by the previous leader that makes the new employer to become like them. For the second cause is poor recruitment. As we know, it is important to have a good recruitment for a position. If there is any poor recruitment, the organization may lose time, money and effort in order to hire the people who is not supposedly not in the position. The recruiter should emphasize the leadership aspect when they recruit the new leader, because as we know, most of the leadership being appointed because they're good at their field but not at being a leadership. Other than that, most of the leaders become a leader because of money, power and reputation, which is commonly wrong for them to have it. If a person become a leader for a wrong reason, she or he will often absent the personal will, the courage and perseverance requirement to succeed. It is also possible for them to not being honest and faithful to those who work for them. It is possible for this leader to more concerned about their self and their career than anything else. Lastly, lack of knowledge about leadership. Leaders that have a little knowledge about leadership is because there is no leadership training. When leader and manager are not properly trained, the organization will suffer. It makes the leader to do whatever they want. Sometimes it is across the limit since they don't have any knowledge about the leadership. As we know, the employees expect management to solve their problem. However, they will become frustrated if the employer or manager fail to do so. So the consequence of this situation, the employee will lose their morale and will less concerned about their work performance. So for the organization should put some investment in management training to make their leader and organization to become effective. From the training, the leader will learn how to do their work and also will be a good leader in the organization and also know what is good and what is bad action through their leadership. If the organization wants to send their employee, there is a various training center that has been provided by the government. For example, there is Institute Takbiran Awam Negara Intan. Is it the training center run by Malaysia Public Service Department, which focusing on the training of leadership, economy, corporate and many more.
Assalamualaikum, my name is WAHIDA FARIZA binti WASILAH. My matrix number 2020-452-666, and I'm going to present about the effects or implications of the problem. The first effect, which is health behavior. Okay, health is a condition where the physical, mental, and social well-being are in a good state. So health is not just about having a disease, but also in terms of their mental and physical that will be affected during working. As we all know, stress is very common in workplace, especially when the work or project that was given to them have a deadline and the deadline is near. And also the environment in the workplace also can cause stress to the employee. However, even though stress is very common, however, over stress can be dangerous to the employee because it can lead to the mental health problems or any physical problems such as depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, or heart disease that can affect the employee performance. In the study of Fernando Messias, they conduct a study for the nurse who work with abusive leader has caused them to have higher blood pressure. Their systolic blood pressure has increased until 15 mm and their diastolic blood pressure has increased to 7 mm compared to when they work with first supervisor. Okay, the next effect, which is job satisfaction. Okay, job satisfaction is when an employee feels motivated, satisfied, and enjoy the process of doing their job in their workplace. So, when they satisfied with their job, it will increase the productivity of the organizations, and also the objective of the organization can be achieved faster because the employee feel happy and love their job. So when having an abusive leader, it will make the employee feel stressed, and when they feel stressed and they have no one to talk to, it will cause them to decide to resign from their job and work with other organizations that offer better working environment. So it is not only about the salary or any incentive that was given, but also the leader can give effect towards the employee performance. And also when having an abusive leader, it will lead to higher turnover rate because the employee cannot stand with a stressful environment. The last effects, which is towards motivations. Okay, motivation is a driving force for the individual behavior because it will encourage an individual to compete in order to achieve the goals that have been set. So in leadership, there is two leadership style that have positive impacts towards employee motivation, which is transformational leadership style and transactional leadership style. This is because for transformational leadership style, the characteristic of this leadership style, which is it will increase the confidence and motivation of the employee. They are open to any suggestion or feedback given by employee. They influence the employee to give their best in order to achieve the goals or objective of the organizations. As for transactional leadership style, it is about the leader who work according to the order and the structure that was given, and also this leadership style use punishment as their motivating factor in order to improve the employee in order to achieve the objective of the projects or the goals that has been set by the organization. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is KHALYSHAH binti MUKHLIS and I will be presenting for recommendation for leadership effects towards employee behavior. The first recommendation for leadership is the leader should be willing to take risks. This is because it will drive to have a best performance in the organization. If the leader have the willingness to take a risk, other employees will see on how the leader wanted to do or to make something new in the organization. And the leader must grow more at ease with being flexible and trying new ideas, as well as attempting to establish and accept deeper levels of cooperation inside the organization. This means that the leader should take risk for the organization's good. And taking risk is valued because it opens doors to new possibilities, even though the results might be terrible. Okay, this means that even though taking risks sometimes will result negatively, however, the negative result does not mean that the risk that the leaders took was a fail. But the leader can take it in a positive way, which means that the leader can continue to improve in making better risks in the future for employees and the organization as a whole. Second recommendation is to make the best decision. Okay, so leaders should use their leadership skills to help their team members and the organization as a whole. Okay, this is because the leaders are the one who are at the top level management. Okay, so they have to use their leadership skills in making the best decision, because if the leader made the best decision, later the employees as well as the organization will improve over time. And other than that, if the employee has success in making the best decision, it also will create a sense of trust among employees. This is because the employees can see that the leaders can guide them, can know and decide on what is the good thing to make them and the organization to grow. Making the best decision also can minimize the conflicts that may occur in the organization. Okay, so this is because if the leaders have made the best decision, there will be less problems occur in the organization, because the leaders know on how to overcome the problems by making their decision well. Last but not least is being committed is what every leader should have. This is because the commitment in leadership will inspire and motivate everyone in the organization. Okay, so everyone here means the employee or the people who lies under the higher level management. When they see that their leaders are committed in doing something, it will give impacts on both organizational performance as well as employees' engagements in performing their work. Okay, so leaders who put up consistent effort over time will acquire the necessary knowledge to increase the effectiveness of the objectives that they wanted to achieve. This is because staying committed or being committed will take time, and it is not an easy journey because they have to maintain or even improve themselves to achieve the goals or objectives that they wanted. If the leaders have put their effort in being committed, everyone in the organization will increase their performance in working, and it will help the organization to grow in the future. That's all from me. Thank you.
In conclusion, the topic of leadership, which has emphasized in the public sector, is not only focused on the job satisfaction and behavior of civil servants, in which it is essential to achieve a good governance that consists of accountability, transparency, integrity, and trustworthiness. hereby to ensure that the behavior of civil servants in the public sector can be measured by the way of the leadership of the leader in the government's organization, despite on every level of governments which consists of federal, state or local, as well as the division of work. This effect can be seen that the well-beingness of civil servants is taken care by the leaders have the positive impact on improving the performance and productivity for deliver the best and high quality of goods and services towards the public. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you very much.